from the soul with it. Yeah.
What's going on, everybody? The Island Race coming to you live with yet another video. If you're new to the channel, please be sure to click that subscribe button. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be a part of the notification squad. So I'd like to talk to y'all about the J. Cole interview that he just did with Angie Martinez. You get the chance, man, like, go watch it. Like, just a great interview, like an overall just great interview. But it was a certain topic that J. Cole talked about. It was about Kanye West. And the reason I wanted to talk about that specifically is because me and my cousin had the same debate on Facebook. I got the same flack that Kanye West was getting. I got the same kind of flack, a couple weeks ago when Kanye West did the slavery was a choice. He made those comments, right? And, I defended Kanye West, and a lot of people were upset about that, right? And, my cousin, he sent me this post. I told you Kanye West. Well, let me go back to J. Cole. J. Cole pretty much said I'm paraphrasing, that pretty much Kanye West was doing it for album sales, and he's kind of this attention seeker, and, the same thing that my cousin said, right? And so what I want to talk about is, my cousin was like, oh, he's doing it for views. He's doing it for album sales. And, you the same. You go ahead, cuz, get your views up, get your subscribers up, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just listening. I'm like, okay, like majority of my content, all of my views really come from Laker videos. I really don't understand that. Like, my highest views are from Laker videos. Like, so the logic doesn't make sense. If I talk about Kanye West, if I'm defending Kanye West, what does Kanye West have to do with Laker videos? But that's just the majority of the people mindset in this world. We look at things emotionally instead of logically, instead of breaking things down into the full context, right? My uncle, for example, he watched the Kanye. He was like, man, you seen Kanye West interview? I was like, yeah, man. I was like, dude's a revolutionary. He said, man, Kanye West crazy. He came back a couple days later, was like, I seen Kanye West full interview. He said, man, the stuff that he was talking about in that interview, he said he talking some real stuff. I said, yeah. Because what happens is, and you see this all the time, you see it where people will take a half a clip and they'll push this, there's this agenda, and we're being programmed through television programming. We're being programmed through music, the radio programming, and people don't understand this. And I'm a huge J. Cole fan, but I'm a huge Kanye West fan. So there's this balance to whereas you see the evolution of a person, and then you see a person who just is just in one place, and he represents something, right? So I don't knock him for that. That's just who he is. And it's with Tupac. That's why people love Tupac, because they feel like when Tupac died at 25, we never got to see the evolution of Tupac. You get what I'm saying? We only got to see Tupac when he was Brenda's got a baby. I wasn't even born, but I'm just saying, like, people never got to see the evolution. That's just like when people be like, man, if Tupac was alive, this person would be working at McDonald's, or this person would be like, when it's rappers from the 90s who are still here and hip hop has still changed. You get what I'm saying? So it's just more commercialized now. Things are going to change regardless, and that's the mindset of different people. They don't grow mentally. We can no longer grow physically, so we can only grow mentally. And that's what's wrong with a lot of people. Like, for example, if I put out a hotel for the homeless, a mixtape, right? Or Kanye West puts out an album called Graduation, or album called College Dropout, everybody wants for him to be this person who he was on College Dropout. That's why you hear people say, I miss the old Kanye West, right? But people aren't failing to grow. If you look at what he said about the slavery comments, right? It's some things that you could say, you could be like, man, he shouldn't have said that. Or if you get so emotional, but if you break it down, you'd be like, bro, like, if you actually think about it, it's people who aren't thinking emotionally, and they look at situation, they be like, you know what, bro, like, maybe if everybody did come together, like, and people still mentally enslaved today, and that's the problem. Like, a lot of people are mentally enslaved, bro. Prince talked about how the music industry was so evil, right? And he said that artists are now slaves. They're like slave contracts. Prince was right. You see what I'm saying? So Kanye West was saying the same thing that Prince said. So the intention of the greater good is there. It's just that you have to not let people think for you and tell you that this person is bad or this person is evil. You have to look at and think yourself. You see what I'm saying? And it's hard to talk to people. Like, sometimes I don't even want to come up here and address things. And this is another thing that bothered me. People are hypocrites, right? They would sit up here and they'll criticize someone like a Kanye West, who is, even look at his platform. Just look at so many people and people watching him. Now, a lot of people will just hear the 400 years of slavery comment, but they'll miss every inspiring thing that he said in the interview that I felt like is inspiring, right? And at his biggest attention seeking moment, he talked about all this thing. Go look at the video, got like 202 million views, 2.8 million views. And he addressed a lot of these things, right? And a lot of people not going to pay attention to that. But when they get the chance to go watch that full interview, probably when he's long gone, they'll be like, man, what he was saying made sense. You get what I'm saying? And it's like, when you want to do something different in this world, you think differently. Look how you get criticized. It's been plenty of times where I wanted to do something different. They criticized. I had dreadlocks. They was like, "Don't cut your hair. You should cut your hair, man. You look cool with the dreadlocks, bro. You should do it." Blah blah blah. Cut my dreads. Oh man, I like your haircut. I like your haircut. Then you go to grow your dreads back. Man, you should keep your haircut, because people are used to being the same. They don't want to grow. They want to do the same things that they were doing years ago. And that's the mentality. It's still the slavery mentality of the norm of this is what, excuse me, this is what life's supposed to be. You're not supposed to do nothing different. And it's the same thing during slavery. I'm almost sure when Harriet Tubman, now all of a sudden, Harriet Tubman never made this statement that she would have freed 1,000 slaves if they knew they were slaves. Now all of a sudden, the statement was never made before, right? Okay, because Kanye West said it. So the thought behind that, she would have freed 1,000 more slaves, is the same concept of Kanye West today. A lot of people are still slave to TV, radio programming, and it's still people who just have this ignorant mindset, and you try to wake them up, and they'll be like, "Man, I don't care about that." I have this video, right, and I talk about how they flipped the game, how they flipped the game of slavery, and it's now mentally instead of physically. It's still a little bit of physical when you going to work every day, right? So for it's people who watch a lot of Kanye West and they're still inspired by what Kanye West represents. Like, I see so many people that, and I think that him and J.Cole, the messages are similar, but they're in different spaces right now. Like, for me, Kanye West is in this space where he has the things that he wanted. And J. Cole, he may have the things that he want. He may be a little bit more at peace. But I feel like I can understand both of them, if that makes sense to you all. But, you know, I just feel as though, like, it's people who are still slaved mentally. Like, for example, what we don't know is our education system. It's flawed. The stuff that we were learning in school, you could go look. Michael Jackson was saying that. When Michael Jackson was saying these things, they said he was crazy. When Prince was saying these things, they said he was crazy. So why is it that when I see these full interviews, all these people that are speaking truth, they are looked at as crazy? I don't understand it, right? So, and I'm pointing to you of different people who went from slavery to become entrepreneurs. Why don't we hear about them? Why don't we hear about them? Why they don't promote them? It's a reason why they keep telling you, about these other slaves. It's a reason why. They're not telling you about the entrepreneurs. You don't hear about the successful black entrepreneurs who came from slavery. You get what I'm saying? Like we don't understand. Like we live in this world where, and I'm gonna tell you how they flip the game. The word coon, for example, people are so quick to call the African American like black people. We so quick to call a person a coon. They don't know the real definition of a coon. Look up the real definition of a coon. It was an insult that white people use to black people. They don't understand that. But the second a black person becomes educated and they grow from that, like I understand the thought process of how my cousin feel. I understand. I totally understand how he feel because I once felt like that. I thought like that. But then I can understand how Kanye West feel because the second you want to do something different or think different, you get criticized for it. I understand, you know, but they flipped it. Coon. When you educate yourself as a black person, they criticize you. They call you a coon because now they don't have to call us coons no more because we call each other coons when another person make it, right? They call Michael Jordan a coon, okay? And then for another example, the N word, right? They don't have to call us the N word anymore because we popularized it. It's cool within the hip hop community. You have artists who promoting Gucci, Louis, Fendi, Prada, but none of them. You criticize Kanye West, but then you praise another artist who promote ignorance, who promote hate, who has a lot of the young females feeling like, oh, it's okay to be a stripper, right? They feel like it's okay to be a stripper and to they feel like they could go that route. Like you don't have to go that route. There's other ways that you can make it. You know, people are so biased and you know they hate who the media tell them to hate. You know, artists promoting all these brands, these high end brands, and these high end brands, they use these high level celebrities to promote these brands. And a lot of people in the urban community who are struggling, they take their money and they promote those brands, right? They take their money, their $200 checks, their $300 check, and they feel good because they got some Louis Vuitton shoes on, because they got some Louis Vuitton this or Louis Vuitton that. When you got Kanye West, we criticizing him, and he's making homeless clothes, right? And then you got somebody like J.Cole, who people is making fun of him for looking homeless. So I'm not understanding the concept of the world we live in, bro. Like it's an ignorant place that we live in society. And people have to do a lot of growing. People want to still be stuck doing the same things they were doing in high school, middle school, elementary school. If you want to be the same person, it's like, let me give y'all this last story, right? My cousin, right? It was this camera, this old camera. I wanted to shoot music videos. And I'm at a position right now where I'm like, I'm trying to focus on my business side and focus on a life. I'm trying to put myself in the best position to when I decide to have kids, because I'm approaching 30, bro. And when I get to 30, I want to be in a position to where one, my nieces and nephews could look up to me and be proud that my uncle owned their own businesses. He's doing something great with his life. He's doing something, he's successful. And they can aspire to be that, right? They see the evolution. I can inspire different people. Like just imagine if I did move to LA and it's so many different comments, different messages where people was like, you know what? I want to move to LA, but I'm scared. But your video helped me. It inspired so many different people, right? So just imagine if I just said, what if I listened and people was like, man, that's crazy that you did that, or you shouldn't have did that, or you shouldn't do this, or you shouldn't do that. And then you do it and you inspire a whole bunch of different people. So what if you move on to the next chapter in your life and you do something different and you inspire people that way? You're constantly doing things that's just inspiring, and people see that. If you stay the same way your entire life, a person gonna look at that and be like, when I get older, I want to work for somebody for the rest of my life. You get what I'm saying? And a person with an ignorant mindset would be like, oh, you trying to look down and you a coon. You looking down on people who work a job and blah, blah. It's the total opposite. I'm inspiring the person to not want to be like that anymore. It's just like a person to say, I'll be like, oh man, it's slavery, it's corporate slavery working a job, right? Because I no longer work a job. They'd be like, oh, well, you used to work a job. That's how people ignorant. But wouldn't a person, that's like Harriet Tubman was freed the slaves. Wouldn't she be able to tell you how life is from being a free slave? As she would be able to tell you how it was being on the plantation, because she was once on the plantation. So she experienced the heartache that she had to suffer from being on the plantation. Now that she's free, now she's showing you a different lifestyle. But you tell Harriet Tubman, oh, you was a slave, now you think you better than us. That don't even make sense. And it's the same thing with Kanye West. He's saying, you are still mentally enslaved. I'm showing you a different way and I'm inspiring you, but you have somebody that's still been the same, like, I don't want to do that. So I can inspire people in other different ways. Two, I want to be in a position when I'm 30 that I have enough money in the bank and flip my money constantly and get to a level where people, where I can make sure my child is taken care of before he even get in this world. And I got different streams of income coming in. I know this video might have been long, but I know a lot of people might not understand it. Maybe people do, but I don't think, because I feel like, honestly, and I want to talk about that, like, I don't feel like Kanye West. I feel like if he was going to put an album out, like, we haven't heard from J.Cole, and I understand. And he said this, like, he was like, I want people to hold me accountable too. So you would seem like kind of like a hypocrite as well, because we haven't heard from you. Now that you're putting out this album, now we hear about KOD, right? Jay-Z, we don't hear from Jay-Z until Jay-Z puts out an album. We don't hear about all these different topics. Donald Trump, I hate Donald Trump, blah, 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 until Jay-Z puts out an album, right? Why is it so much of a problem for Kanye West, right? So that's just my take on it. Everybody's different. I'm getting to a point where people just have to learn on their own. I'm just getting to a point where I'm focusing on what I want to do, my next venture in life. And I just wish the best for everyone. I wish success for everyone in life. And I hope that whatever you do in life, that you could be the best that you want to be. I still support Kanye 100%. I still support J. Cole 100%. And I feel like they both are doing, you know, doing things for God, and that's just my opinion, bro. Like, and as far as like Kanye West album, I'm going to listen to Kanye West, and Elvis, honestly, he's actually doing, he has to have done something right, because I guarantee you, all the people who criticize him for trying to promote an album, I guarantee you that they're going to check to see what he's talking about. Even if you go listen to the Ye versus the People song, I bet you a lot of people didn't hear that song and listen to the message that he was talking about. He didn't have to, he could have got on that song and said, man, my girl, my wife, Kim Kardashian is bad and she's sexy and all this other stuff. If he did that and he was just talking about his wife got a new line and Northwest got this new shoe coming out and all that, then it's a difference. But if you listen to a whole interview and on the person's platform at the highest level when people are watching, you're talking about something extremely positive, then now we have a different story. And for J. Cole, it would have to make me look at you like, bro, like, are you on their side or are you not? But that's just my take on it. Y'all get in that comment box, like, share, subscribe. I'm out.